Is it true that ancient Egyptian monarchs practiced sibling marriages between brothers and sisters and produced children from them? What explains such degeneracy? Were they inspired by stories of such marriages among their gods in the Egyptian mythology? And some followers of Semitic religions allege that such stories of incest are prevalent among some of our Hindu gods too. Is that true? Absolutely untrue. There is no such parallel among the Hindu gods. Absolutely none. Okay, there are no cousin marriages among Hindu gods, or sibling marriages among Hindu gods. Absolutely none. Now, coming back to so that I hope that answers the last question. Now, coming back to the first question, it is indeed true that Egyptian monarchs, pharaohs, practiced sibling marriages. Yeah, it's a very weird thing because historically, no culture tolerates that sort of ghastliness. Okay, sibling marriages. Some cultures have cousin marriages, which also produce all kinds of genetic defects, right? Um, I mean, Pakistan has one of the highest incidences of cousin marriages and genetic defects, which obviously go hand in hand. So the Egyptian monarchs did have this. So in Egyptian mythology, you have the siblings, Isis and Osiris. They're gods, right? They're the gods, and they are siblings, and they're married. So the Egyptian pharaohs, the Egyptian rulers, they had this. First of all, they had to show that they were kind of divine, not the same as ordinary mortals. So they had to behave like Isis and Osiris, kind of. So they would have sibling marriages. And also, the other factor that comes into consideration is that they did not want non-royal political families to become prominent by through intermarriage. So they wanted to maintain purity of lineage, which is like weird, but that's what they did. So Egyptian kings would marry their sisters and produce offspring through them. But most Egyptian rulers had multiple wives. For example, you have the very famous example of Amenhotep III, who ruled Egypt about 2,500 years, 3,500 years before today, roughly 3,500 years before today. And he was married to the daughter of the Mitanni king, Taduchipa. He was also married to the sister of the Mitanni king. Uh, so the Mitanni king was Tusharatta. He was obviously of Indian origin. He spoke Sanskrit. His sister was Giluchipa. His daughter was Taduchipa. And both were married to the Egyptian pharaoh Amenhotep III. And there is an extensive correspondence between Tusharatta and Amenhotep III about various topics, diplomatic correspondence. And after Amenhotep III died, this correspondence continues between Tusharatta and the widow of Amenhotep III, and so on. So Amenhotep III, we know he had multiple wives. One was his sister, and at least two of these Indian origin princesses from the Mitanni Empire. So it is possible that some of the children that were born as a consequence of these sibling marriages would have been genetically deformed, would have genetic defects, but they also married other non-related people, uh, women from faraway royal families. So that's the kind of practice they had. So yeah, it's one of the curious and strange aspects of Egyptian politics, but that's what it was.